I'm Zoe.
And I'm James.
And we are Childfree. It's been a while since we've said that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Months.
Been a while. Yeah, we're trying to get back on this podcast thing.
We love it so, but it's a lot of work.
We do love it so.
It's a lot of work, lovelies. So we appreciate the patience.
Mm-hmm. We've heard still lots of nice things about you all from the podcast and the work we're doing, and especially the new stuff we're doing, which we'll talk more about in a sec.
Oh, teaser. Like it.
And yeah, it helps us to know that like the podcasts that we have done in the past are still out there and are still helping people, even if we haven't been able to get out of our own way to actually record new ones.
Why are we our worst enemy?
I don't know. I have such doubt.
Such doubt.
Such doubt.
But I guess our community is the thing that keeps us going and keeps rallying around us, wanting us to do the things that we love doing. I think we just, are way too hard on ourselves. But first, I think we have to talk about the location because you're probably hearing some interesting wave sounds in the background.
Those are waves.
Those are literal waves. We haven't just put on some kind of sound recording.
Yeah, it's very like ASMR.
I hope so. Apart from our voices,
noise. Yeah.
Our Geordie voices. Apologies about that.
If you like Geordie voices, this would be the perfect thing to fall asleep to.
And if you don't, we're sorry.
So sorry. But yeah, we're on Lanzarote.
Yeah.
In the Canary Islands. It's amazing.
Oh.
It's like one of my favourite places on earth, I think.
It's so gorgeous. And people told us how beautiful it was, but I don't know if we actually believed it could be this beautiful. The black sands, the craters, the lava rock, the green. There's so much greenery here. So it's not just like a barren wasteland.
Yeah, we're like on a beach on the edge of a national park that's full of volcanoes. And at the beach itself, there are salt flats, and there's a lagoon, which is a protected nature reserve, which you're not allowed to walk out, but you can.
James.
I left the birds alone.
We're going to be banned.
No, the birds were cool.
We walked a little bit in, and then I retreated.
I can't believe you. Well, I've been all over that thing, and it was worth it.
Okay.
But yeah, just this like landscape of volcanic rock and the Atlantic Ocean and sun.
It's healing. We had I had a rough few months before we got here with a lot of family stuff going on that I needed to be in nature right now, and it feels healing, lovelies. And I think like this is a remedy for so many of us in our community, but everyone. I think when stuff has been so difficult, not just for me, just in the world right now, there's a lot of stuff going on, isn't there? And if you can get outside and just connect with nature, even if it's just going for a walk, it does something to your body. You breathe slower, your shoulders relax, and it's my biggest personal self-care right now is just going out and being in nature. So feeling very grateful.
Touch grass, folks.
Yeah.
Or volcanic rock.
Volcanic rock.
Whatever you've got around you.
Yeah, make it work.
But yeah, this year we are stoked to be getting into the project that we've really wanted to do for years and years and years, and have been doing kind of a little bit of, but not full force, as Zoe would say.
That's one of my sayings,
as the driver and the motivator. And this year we're like, fuck it, we have to do this because the world needs it.
Yeah.
And what's that, so?
It's the Elder Project. Elder Stories. We believe so much in hearing from the elders in our community because for too long we are told by society that we will live sad, lonely, regretful lives. We will have no one when we're older. And we know that's not been true. We've been doing this project since 2017, hearing from the elders, and we have been sharing them, but we want to do even more. We want to go even deeper. We want to take their portraits. We want to interview them for the podcast. And I began sharing the stories in reels, short videos, and the impact has been insane, crazyable, phenomenal. So I think we got like 70,000 new followers just from a couple of those reels. But the comments are what really told us that we're on the right track. People saying they don't have that fear about their futures now that they are hearing from people who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond saying, I love my life. I don't have regrets. And that's what we need, representation and those role models, because many of us have never had a role model, someone who has said, I don't want children and I love my life. And that's why we started this project, was to give you those role models.
Yeah.
And now the elders are the missing piece that we just want to really highlight. And our dream is a book and just a way to share their stories. And that's our plan for this year, is to get in Dolly, get in our van, drive to as many of the elders that we can get to. We have a dream of, can we, fly to a few places maybe, if shipping the van is a bit too expensive for us, like maybe heading into North America, because we're probably banned from America right now.
Yeah, we want to head to as many places as possible that don't have us on some kind of list for exactly this work that we are doing.
Empowering people. The forces that be do not want people to make conscious choices. They don't want people to know that parenthood is a choice. And child-free people are a symbol of that freedom, and some people really don't like that.
They don't. So, but you can help us get this thing off the ground by, if you are over 60 and you are seeing or hearing this, there'll be a link in the notes to share your story, so that we can share your story with other folks and give them hope through our socials, and also, like Zoe was saying, through podcasts and hopefully portraits when we come meet you one day. If that's not you, if you're not an elder yet, then if you know anyone or can help spread the word, please do. Please share this far and wide.
Anonymous is fine as well.
Yeah. You can be anonymous.
Yep.
And we'll still be able to share your story. We may be able to find a way to do a podcast pseudonymously.
Oh,
word of the
fancy.
day. And just we want to hear from as many of you as possible, because it gives us hope, and it also helps us plan a year of speaking to and meeting and shooting child-free elders.
Yeah.
And one of the main things we found through sharing these stories is an answer to the question, am I going to regret being child-free?
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's the biggie.
And the answer's no. So that's it.
Well,
that's the pod.
I like to add a bit more nuance than James. James he's a black and white person, I would say.
All right, we'll both have a go with our answers. How's that?
Deal.
Yeah. Okay, you first.
Chances are no, you will not regret. I mean, this project, we've been doing it for 2017. James helped me with the maths.
9 years.
We've never had a story from someone telling us they regret their decision. Now, I always caveat that with saying that doesn't mean regret isn't possible, but it does tell us a big truth, that many, many folks in our community do not have regrets. And there's different facets of this idea of regret, and people can experience moments of wistful thinking. What if my life had been different? What if I'd had kids? It would be nice to have maybe that moment with my child, that bond. That's a different feeling to, I wish I could go back in my life and have children. So far we have never had anyone tell us that. And in the comments to the Elder Reels, people are saying, but you should share the other side, the people who do regret it. I'm like, I can't. I literally can't share it, because no one has sent us anything that says they regret it. So
we would, if we could.
If we could.
Because we're not trying to combat the pronatalist propaganda with propaganda of our own.
No.
We're interested in telling the truth, sharing real experiences, and unlocking the true lived experiences of child-free people for the rest of you. And so we can only tell you what we've learned.
Yeah.
And like Zoe was saying, we've shared hundreds of stories. We've read thousands of comments. We talk with people about this constantly. And no one has ever said to us anything close to, I wish I'd had children.
And this idea of fearing regret, we need to really put that aside as well, because regret is a normal part of life. We make decisions all the time that take us down one path, and that means when you open one door, you're closing many other doors.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you've made the wrong decision. It just means that you went in this direction. So we have to really let go of this idea that regret is something to fear. It's not. It's just accepting that it's a natural, normal part of life. But I tell you what, if you as a person can really make those conscious choices and really think about the future that you want for yourself, or the life that you want for yourself, you have a far less chance. You have a my brain is breaking with this, but you have
opposite of greater.
lesser. You have a lesser chance of facing those regrets.
Yeah.
So make conscious choices, make intentional decisions, and the chances of you making a massive mistake or choosing the wrong quote unquote path, it's far less.
Yeah. We have to give a shout out here to Maria, who's a Childfree elder we've already spoken to and shot, who actually was one of the people who recommended Lanzarote to us. She also loves it here.
Yeah.
She said life is a risk. And she also went on, let me just share a bit of what she said. She shared this idea called counterfactual curiosity, which sounds real fancy and complicated, but it's not. It's basically looking at those different paths that your life could take with curiosity and not despair or fear.
Right.
And so she said, like, yes, she could have grown up and been a teacher, which is the path that she was like originally on. She could have had kids. She could have done this, that, and the other. She actually ended up traveling the world with her partner and leading these tours to these far off corners of the earth and meeting people and having these wild experiences that are like really inspirational for us as nomadic child-free folks.
Right.
And she said, this is the life I chose, and it has been rich, wild, and deeply fulfilling.
So amazing.
So amazing.
Our community always says the most inspiring, incredible things.
Yeah. So yeah, regret is not the problem. It's the fear of regret that's the problem. And that's what's actually being kind of actively weaponized against us and used against us to keep us in line. And Zoe, you spoke to Orna Donath one time.
Yeah, an icon. She is doing incredible work. She has written a book about regretful parents and
regretting motherhood.
Share their stories, and it's the most heartbreaking thing. And this is, I believe, why I'm so passionate about this work, because I don't ever want a woman to make a decision out of obligations or expectations, thinking that it's somehow the only path available to them, and then regretting that so deeply. But there is no going back once you have children. That's the real heartbreaking thing.
Yeah.
You have to live that life and navigate that, and Orna's work is just so powerful, and speaking to her and hearing just the amount of knowledge she has around this subject, and I know it really helped our community sharing that podcast.
Oh, totally. And she's a child-free woman herself. She's spoken to lots of child-free folks, as well as parents, and has studied regret a lot. So she's like the expert on this. And she was pointing out that, like, so let me drop some knowledge bombs on you from Orna. She said, society uses regret in order to align us with the right path and to preserve the right social order. So the idea is that when someone says, you'll regret this, whether they know it or not, they're kind of like parroting this pronatalist propaganda that they don't know that you'll regret. That's the thing about regret. No one knows what's going to happen. No one knows how they're going to feel about it. But this idea that there's a right and a wrong choice, and that there's a right way of doing things and living your life, and there's a wrong way. All they're saying is that, like, from everything that I've been told and seen and maybe experienced myself, what you're doing looks wrong, and so it doesn't make sense.
And that's like a huge problem when humans are diverse. We're not all the same, and that's really what our work is about embracing the diversity and the nuance in humans, and not saying there is one path that you must take, because that is a ridiculous notion.
Yeah.
And I wish people, I mean, I guess it's really difficult when your loved ones are saying these things.
Yeah.
Because you trust them, they know you, you love them. So
they want what's best for you.
They want what's best for you. So it's really difficult to go like, nope, I'm going to trust my own gut. And this is part of the problem as well for women, that we're raised to not listen to our own voice, not trust our gut, listen to everyone else. So when everyone else is telling you that you will regret this, it's really difficult to just go, nope, I know myself. I am not going to regret this. And I believe the elder stories and hearing from other folks who have chosen this path, that's the kind of the permission that you need to go listen to your voice, no one else's.
Yeah. So Orna has this kind of thought experiment. I mean, she was just speaking for herself. She didn't propose this as like a teaching aid, but I think it's like a really useful thing to go through yourself. So she thinks, like, from her place, like now, I think in her 40s or 50s, I don't want children now. So all I can do right now is, with that knowledge, not have children.
Right.
But if she gets to 70 or 80 or the end of her life and then turns around and changes her mind or realizes, like, actually I did want to have children, what does that then mean? It means that she had 70 or 80 good years of living the life that she wanted, and then ahead of her she has 5, 10, 15 years of wishing she'd had children. But on balance, like, that seems good, right? That
seems amazing.
That seems like a life well lived.
Absolutely. And she's also not just thinking about herself. When she asks herself, I don't want children right now, she's saying, I don't want to bring an unwanted child in just because I am fearful about my future. So she's protecting someone else in that equation, which I think is incredibly responsible. And that's when people throw out these statements like, you'll regret it, you'll change your mind. The pressure that you're putting on people who they have considerable fears or reasons or just don't want kids, you are trying to change that and make them push through their legitimate feelings about it, which has an impact on that child that they could bring into the world. So it's just a very irresponsible thing. And I think, what Orna is suggesting is amazing advice. And
another thing Orna said was, like, this idea of regret is to kind of sow the seeds of doubt in your head. To make you feel like by not having kids you've ruined something.
Right.
And that you deserve to be punished. And so you kind of you either are then pushed towards having children that you may not want and end up being one of those regretful mothers that she's spoken to, who, have had terrible consequences for that, and like Zoe was saying, for their kids as well.
Right.
Or you kind of internalize that kind of punishment and you feel like you should be punished, and then you just end up like doubting yourself and questioning things and just like living in turmoil. And it'd be amazing if anything we could do could like release you from that.
Absolutely.
Especially sharing the experiences of older people who've not had kids and have had wonderful lives.
Yeah, we always have to like question when people or society is telling us something, why? Why are they doing it? Well, for our loved ones, from our friends, it might be humans want to be part of the same gang. So literally them saying, oh, you should do this, you'll regret it. They want you to follow their path. It validates their path. And society wants you to do what it wants you to do, which is have more children, feed into the economy, feed into creating more taxpayers. There's a whole reason behind pronatalism of them pushing this kind of agenda. So always ask yourself, when anyone makes a statement like you'll regret it, why would they be doing it? There's always a reason why someone passes a comment or judges you or tries to shame you or pressures you. Firstly, they may need you to validate their choices. If you have children, it makes them feel better about their own choice. When society pushes this narrative on you, because they want you to follow the script that they've laid out to you from birth, especially women. Have kids, prop up the machine, keep pumping out the taxpayers, the workers, and look after your partners and husbands. That's your role. So ask yourself, why are they doing this? Why are you being pressured? It's really not out of a concern for you. We don't tell anyone else you'll regret having kids. We don't say, oh, that plastic surgery that you're going to have, you'll regret that, or that tattoo, or that job that you take, or that country you move to. We generally let people make decisions about their lives and let them get on with it. But this is the only decision that we stick our noses in. And that comes from pronatalism and patriarchy.
And I think those forces would also have you believe that there's no decision to be made, that there's no choice to be made, that everyone does this.
Right.
Or everyone wants this, or whatever. Because what's behind you'll regret this is this belief that everyone should want and have children, which is like the core of pronatalism.
Right.
But if you can sort of scratch the surface of what someone's saying to you, and you find like a statement or a belief that's about what everyone wants, you can disregard that.
Right.
Because we know that child-free people are as diverse as any group of people, and that everyone is entirely different and has different backgrounds and experiences and desires, and so just this idea that what makes, even if it made most people happy, that's not a guarantee that it will make you happy.
No, not at all.
So you can just disregard that stuff like entirely.
Yeah, it's always going to come down to you go inwards. Don't look outside of yourself for the answers, ever, really. Friends, family, society, they can't help you make decisions about your life. I mean, professionals, okay, if you need to speak to someone in a professional setting, great, but generally, your friends, your family, they're not going to be able to help you make this decision. Only you can make this decision for you. So go inwards, do the work on yourself. Ask yourself what you want your future to look like. What are your priorities? What are your desires, your needs? What kind of personality are you? I mean, we as child-free people do all of this work often, and we really analyze who we are and what we want out of life. And I think that's a really amazing aspect of our community. We make intentional decisions. I just wish everyone made those decisions. And I wish the default wasn't always going to be you have kids. It should be the default is you don't have kids unless you have a really amazing reason to do it.
Yeah. All we want is for people to be able to make conscious choices and then get the support that they need to live their lives accordingly. Like, that's it. We're not pushing any agenda here or anything like that. We just want everyone, and especially child-free people, to just be left alone.
Please.
To make the choices, and live our lives.
Yeah.
But maybe we can leave you with one more tiny bit of a story from a child-free elder, Dana Lynn, who's been a great supporter of this project for years.
Incredible.
An absolute icon, and who has been through it lately and hasn't had an easy life.
No.
But also has no regrets. So she was 61 when she said this. I was told I would regret my choice. I was told that it would be a shame to die alone. Parentheses, guess what? All of us die alone. I was told that I would have a lonely and unfilled life without children. I am 61 now. I have no spouse, no children, and no regrets. I have freedom that others can only imagine. My mind has not changed. My life is not wasted. My life is joyful. My life is full.
Oof.
Right?
Yes, thank you, Dana Lynn, for that.
And that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because hearing that, like, it just fills me with like hope and confidence
and
strength.
Yeah, to follow your own path and know that it's absolutely possible to be happy and fulfilled and have meaningful lives without having your own children. Thank you so much for every person who shares their story with us, because really it's our community that are changing the narrative around what it means to be child-free, and that's why the Elder Project is so important for us to be able to share your voices. And, you know, we're just so grateful that to have a community like this who helps us to do this kind of work. So thank you. Thank you
so much
to the folks who are listening, who are our supporters and have shared their story or shared our content. We couldn't do this work without you, so thank you.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet shared your story, there'll be a link to that in the notes. We'd love to hear from you, whether you're an elder or not.
Absolutely.
Everyone's experiences matter.
Yeah.
All stories help other child-free people feel seen, heard, celebrated, supported, hopeful. But especially if you're age 60 or older, we would love to hear from you and speak to you and hopefully one day meet you.
Oh, yes.
And if that's not you, but you have an inspiring older child-free person in your life, please share this with them. Nothing. Blank mooch. Is that the end?
No, just getting pumped up and inspired.
Was that face? We're keeping this in.
No.
We're keeping it in. So bye, lovelies.
I think I got into a trance being with the waves and the inspirational talk. I felt like Tony Robbins was here. It was really creepy.
All right, time to go.
Yes, on that horrifying note.
Bye, lovelies.
Bye, lovelies.